So this is my 50-hour honest review of Crimson Desert. So one of my favorite parts about the game is its very complex boss fights. It really pulls you in no matter how hard or easy people say it is. It really reminds me of Elden Ring in a lot of ways, if toned down a little bit, because the bosses can be difficult if you let them, and even if you come in prepared, they can still surprise you. Like one of the bosses I fought early game, he would constantly disappear and reappear during the fight. There's even a point where he basically creates a bunch of shadow clones of himself to fight you. And it was a peak boss fight. What is also very cool in the game, kind of like MMOs, you can have pets, but instead of having to pay for them, in this game you don't have to. You can have a pet dog, which I really like. It's not just for looks either, it can actually help you sniff out enemies and look for certain things. But one of my main problems I have is the archery contest, which you have to do for a main mission. No spoilers, obviously. It is insanely hard to do on controller. I had to spend at least 30 minutes learning the timing perfectly, otherwise the other guy was just gonna beat me no matter what I did. So it was really a hassle just to do the mission, and I didn't enjoy it at all. One of the other problems I had was screen tearing, but I'm assuming it fixed itself because it only happened one time in the beginning of the game when it first came out, and it hasn't happened since. But there is an annoying glitch where it resets my settings every few times I boot up the game, so be aware of that. On top of that, there was a horse glitch, which I'm pretty sure got patched, where your horse won't spawn to you and you'd have to restart your game or go back to a certain save. One of my favorite details in the game, though, is that you can see what day it is and how many in-game days you've been in Crimson Desert and what time it is. I've always liked video games that do this, and I wish more games would do this because it just makes me feel that much more immersed inside the game. Also, an annoying bug that I constantly ran into, I would either go to a main mission or a side mission, and I would go into the area, and at first I think I'm not looking for the right place, but I am. Something just isn't triggering or wasn't triggering, so I either had to restart my game or leave the area completely and come back. It was really frustrating because if I'm doing a mission, that's what I'm there trying to do. I don't want to restart my game. I just want to keep playing because I'm having fun, because I'm enjoying the game. But because of that, I would have to stop momentarily. But I haven't run into that lately, so I'm pretty sure it got patched with some of the newer updates. So you might not even ever encounter that. I just had to note that down in my script just in case. One of the things I really like is how you can mine for materials to upgrade your gear. You can chop down trees to upgrade your shield, and that really helps feel more immersed in the world, and that just really helps a lot with boss fights, so I don't feel like I have to be overburdened with the mechanics of the game. But another thing I wanted to talk about is that Crimson Desert puzzles are no joke. Some of them are pretty easy, but others cannot get through unless you look up a video on YouTube. I don't know if it's because I'm not the smartest person alive or what, but I do like that some of them are actually challenging because so I have to like think. And sometimes if I get sick thinking, YouTube. But other than that, the puzzles are pretty much straightforward. Another thing I wanted to add is that the inventory system can actually be quite unforgiving. Because unlike games like Skyrim, where notes don't weigh anything, in this game, everything has weight to it, unless it's like a quest item. But after you complete that quest item becomes weighted gear in your inventory, which then makes it a bit more difficult and gives you less space. And I have a little tiny issue with the fast travel in this game. Unless you stand completely still, like you can't move at all, you can fast travel easily, but if you move even an inch, it won't let you fast travel. I hope this is something the game fix later on with a patch, but as of right now, you have to stand perfectly still, and it does get frustrating and annoying. Another thing about this game, because I know it sounded like I was kind of hating on the game, I'm not. I love this game. This is one of the games, though, it's not really made for a story. It's just not. The story can get good near halfway to the end, but it's really not going to pull you in like that. What does pull you in, though, is the gameplay, the sandbox, the world, and just the stuff you can do in that world. That's what really pulled me in. And that's also so much more you can do in the world, whether it's basically Fight Club, arm wrestling, hunting, archery, and of course, like I said before, the boss fights. There's non-stop stuff you can do in this world, and I think that's why I'm starting to really fall in love, and that's why it kept me playing. So if that sounds like your kind of game, then this will probably be as well. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the mounts in Crimson Desert. One of the majority complaints about this game was the lack of variety in mounts because, yeah, you could mount on something like a bear and use it once, but once you got off the bear, it would basically aggro and start attacking people, so you really couldn't bring it into towns. Basically, eventually you'd have to get off of it. But now they added permanent mounts like polar bear is a permanent mount, and also a gigantic wolf, which I found really interesting and really cool because that's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to buy the game in the first place, to have permanent mounts like that, because you don't really see that in other games. And I also wanted to talk about the latest patch notes. Originally, I wasn't going to bring this up, but I just feel like for this review I had to. And speaking of which, not only did they add the mounts that we just talked about, but they also made it where gliding uses way less stamina. They reworked the stamina cost for both gliding and running, because before the patch it was way too much stamina for no reason. Now it feels way better. They also increased fast travel loading speed, so it loads way faster now than it did before. And I know I'm trying to keep more of a launch type review, but I do have to mention these changes because this is how the game is now, and they might keep improving on it more and more. Another thing is the whole AI painting situation where people were talking about. They removed it. I didn't make a big deal about it personally because I figured they were going to remove it anyways. And one last thing, they added hold to sprint. So instead of tapping the button over and over, you can just hold it now, which is really nice. If you just go in your settings, you'll see the option right there. But speaking of which, I do want to talk about traversal some in Crimson Desert. The traversal is actually really fun. It can be a little complex at times, though. Like, there's this one move where you can swing around a tree or a structure, launch yourself really high in the air, and start doing a bunch of fast front flips. You can actually do some pretty insane stuff with it, but on PlayStation, at least, it can be kind of difficult to pull off. You have to press L3 and then hold square and R3 at the same time to trigger it, and sometimes you need a lot of stamina just to do it. So it just makes it harder to use consistently, and I barely ever use it even though I spent time unlocking the ability. But gliding itself after the stamina changes is really fun. You can climb on the high points of the map and just glide and just see the whole map and how beautiful it is. As long as you upgrade your stamina, you can glide for a really long time. It's actually really enjoyable, and this is one of the things I like doing the most while exploring the world. But with all that said and done, this is a really fun game. I enjoyed a lot of it. It's had its ups and downs so far. Like, some of the bosses can be really difficult, some of them can be really easy. They're It's hard to get through story missions sometimes. Like, they have this fast forward mechanic, which I really don't like in games, but in this game it makes sense because the story is kind of here or there. But even with its problems, I still had a lot of fun, and I'm still having fun with it. So my final verdict for Crimson Desert is a solid 8 out of 10. I'm going to keep playing this game. I hope this review has helped you decide if you want to get the game or not, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.